Hello and welcome back to Twin City Spotlight, the show where we shine a light on interesting people, places, and communities throughout the Twin Cities. My name is Seth and I'll be your host. Today's show is focused on campus creatives. We will be taking a look into Century College's Performing Arts program. We'll explore theater and art and talk to some standout students who showcase what these programs have to offer. To start with, let's hear what Allison, a theater student at Century, has to say about theater and what it's like to be an assistant director.
My name is Allison Mewers. Here at Century, I am involved with the theater department. I also am the student worker in the theater department, so I'm the teacher's aide for the theater classes, and I'm also involved with all the productions here. I've been interested in theater pretty much my whole life. I don't really know what specifically sparked that interest for me. I know that, growing up I always watched a lot of movies and that kind of stuff. My major here is in theater, so I do hope in the future to go to actually pursue theater as a career. What specifically that will look like, I'm still kind of up in the air about, because like I said, I really just enjoy all of the aspects of theater when it comes performing, stage managing, technical work, lights, microphones, costumes, props, just all of that kind of stuff. So that's one thing that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, is narrowing down what field specifically I want to get into. The director here at Century has been pushing me to pursue directing potentially, and that is something that I'm very interested in. But I've also never done it, so we'll kind of see on that. I'm still pretty open right now. And I think that that sort of interpretive aspect to it is really interesting to me, how different people can interpret the same script in different ways. For this show, in terms of during the actual performances, I'm actually running the light board. So our lighting designer put together all of that and I'm just kind of running the board. And then also just making sure before performances that everybody's here, everybody's where they need to be. It's a lot of managing everybody else and making sure that everybody else is doing what they need to be doing. And then during the rehearsal process and everything like that, I'm just kind of, I'm the main point of contact for everybody in the cast and crew. So if anybody has issues or questions or concerns, anything like that, I'm the person that they talk to and I do my best to get that figured out. It's a lot of problem solving and organizing and figuring out schedules and making sure everything's just running smoothly. I think the time that I've been working at Century and the opportunities that I've gotten here, I would say the most, practical skills that I've gained are just getting to experience a lot of the production stuff firsthand. A lot of the behind the scenes kind of information that I've never really been involved with before. I really enjoy all of the aspects of theater, honestly, and I know it's a cop-out answer, but I think that every part of the artistic process is really interesting to me. I would say in terms of the production side, I really enjoy sort of the audition and casting process because it's just very interesting to me to see all these people come in and they have different skill sets and different personalities and kind of figuring out the puzzle of putting everything together like that. And then just the whole rehearsal process of seeing everything actually come together is always really cool, and especially where we're at right now with the chorus line, where we're in our final week of rehearsals before we open this weekend. Our fall musical is the musical A Chorus Line, and so we're starting to finally implement costumes and lighting and microphones and the pit orchestra and everything, and so that's always really exciting to get all that stuff added together for the first time. So generally we do 3 shows a year. Usually what it is going to be is 1 musical and 2 straight plays. This year's a little bit different because instead of a winter play, we're hosting the 10-minute play festival. So that's kind of replacing our winter play here. But generally it's 3 shows, 1 musical and 2 plays. For me at least, what separates theater from film, television, etc., which I am very interested in those as well. But what makes theater kind of stand out a little bit to me is just that live aspect. how every single night of performances, it's gonna be different. There's no way to do it all the same because there's that live element to it. I also really enjoy how plays and musicals get produced multiple times in different places, whereas like film, unless you're getting like a remake or whatever, it's just that one film, and there's great elements to that you can look at. But with theater, if you're looking at a play, like one play, say, you can see 100 different productions of that one play, and they're all going to be completely different from each other.
Well, that was fascinating. Thank you so much, Allison, for giving us this insight into theater and for joining us here in the studio today. I just wanted to start out and ask, you've been interested in musical theater for your whole life. Can you sort of tell us how that started?
Yeah, it's hard to say where that kind of stuff begins and what sparks that interest. I know, for me growing up, I have older siblings, and both of them did theater when they were in middle school and high school, so I saw them perform, and I don't know if it's maybe that younger sibling kind of thing of, oh, they did it, I want to do it too, or if it just was very fun to watch. But yeah, ever since, from the earliest age that I had an opportunity to do theater, I did it, and I just always loved it. I've never had a theater experience that made me not love it more.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. I was talking to you earlier, it seemed like you were really interested in the casting and the auditioning process. What excites you about that?
Yeah, I just think it's so, from my experience, both being an actor auditioning and being on the production team on the casting decision side of things, it's so interesting to see all the different people that are auditioning and what their skills are, what their background is, what their personality is, and how that affects the casting. There's so many decisions to be made, and there's so many different ways that you can go with it. For example, we just did a chorus line, we just finished that up, but during the audition process, we as the production team, we had so many different directions that we could have gone, and none of them would have been wrong or right. It's just kind of figuring out what we want specifically and what direction we want to take it in, and just seeing all of those options in front of us is really just fascinating to me personally.
For sure, yeah, no, that makes sense. Just a little bit of background, you've been in 2 stage performances, it seems like, and then 4 stage manager sort of roles. What do you like better, and then also what is the difference? What does that look like?
I enjoy both sides very much. It's just kind of a different experience as an actor versus being on the team. I think the main difference is just what your responsibilities are and what, at least for me, what you're stressing about. Because if I'm in a cast, then what I'm stressing about is learning my lines and getting everything done and making sure that my performance is good, it's the best that I can give, and it's what they want from me. Whereas when you're on the team, it's more organization and making sure that instead of worrying about what I'm doing, I'm worrying about what everybody else is doing. But they're both very enjoyable for me, just kind of in different ways.
Sure. What would you tell a student who is coming into Century? What would you recommend them that they do? What classes would they take?
Sure. If they had any interest in theater, I would definitely say first things first, we do have an introduction to theater class that kind of just covers all the basics. You read some plays and you do a little bit of script analysis, you do a little bit of acting, you do a little bit of you learn about set design and production and all that kind of stuff. You just kind of get little snippets of everything. That's a great, in my opinion, introduction to the world of theater. And then moving past that, we also have some acting classes that I think are very fun. They're different every semester, so you can take them multiple times and always come out with something new. If you have any interest in acting, you do monologue work, you do scene work. It's very fun. There's also some more specialty courses, I guess. We have a musical theater class where you're studying specifically musicals. We have a script analysis class where you're just working on script analysis, of course. There's a tech and design course learning about stage design. There's a class on directing where you're just learning about that aspect. So I would say the basics would be that intro class. and the acting classes. And then if you still have an interest in theater after that, I would definitely recommend looking into those more specialty courses.
You mentioned the directing class. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's actually a new class that we're offering this coming semester, the spring 2026 semester. And to my understanding, I believe this is the first time we're actually doing this class. It's a brand new course. So I'm very excited to learn about that. I don't know specifically what it will entail, if that's going to be just learning about what the directing process looks like, or if there's going to be some hands-on work. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, it's kind of a new course, but no matter what it is, I'm sure it'll be very, very interesting.
Do you have any favorite directors or performers?
Oh, just in general?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Directors, I do have a couple favorites in the film world, at least. Say probably Robert Zemeckis, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all that stuff. I think he's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Do you have a favorite line or a favorite moment from any musical or?
Oh, wow. There's I don't know if you're from the musical Into the Woods.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites. Honestly, that just the whole script of that is probably my favorite line. But there is the song in the musical No One Is Alone. And I think that's probably one of just my favorite musical theater songs in general. I think that's just such a beautiful song.
A fantastic pick. Well, thank you again, Allison. Next, we're going to look into the art program. We talked to Gabby, an art student at Century, about her unique style of artwork. Let's take a look.
My name is Gabrielle Miller. I go by Gabby. I have been at Century for 2 years now. I'm doing the AFA program, the Fine Arts Associates program, and I'll be finishing that up next year. The thing that inspired me to join the Century Art program was my love of art. And after high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something with art. I've loved art literally all my life. I can't remember a time where I haven't ever wanted to do something with my hands or put color or anything on a piece of paper or make a sculpture or anything. I classify myself as a collage artist, but I love adventuring outside of collage and painting, sculpture. I love playing with beeswax and whatever that means, making paper. I just love history. So choosing these historical photos and words that people have spoke back then, I think it connects us back to that time. I'm really drawn to the 1900s, 1920s, that type of period. I love the fashion and all the aesthetic of it, kind of. Not the values of it, but the aesthetic. One of the things that I've loved for a very long time is bookbinding, and I'm gonna pursue that in the future. I love bookbinding. My first ever book is actually being shown in the Niche Gallery right now. Bookbinding is just the art of making books and sewing them together, casing them in, which means putting a hardcover on a book. A month ago, I searched up if there were bookbinding schools in the US, and there was. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is life-changing. I love making books. I love playing with paper. I'm gonna do this. I plan on going to North Bennett Street School in Boston in 2 years. I want to pursue it because I want to work with my hands. I don't think I could ever not work with my hands, and it's something that I've found a real deep passion in that motivates me every day. My collages in the Niche Gallery were made during 2020. So I guess the message I was trying to portray was just my mental health and what I was experiencing during COVID and how I was processing that. I go through the photos, I pick what I like, I pick what I want. I'll get a various amounts of backgrounds that I'll use as filler on my main photos, subjects, humans, dogs, animals, whatever, a building. And then I'll just start playing around with balance and like composition, all like the Gestalt stuff. And then after, usually I'll go in and look for words in books. The free library on the East Campus I've utilized a lot with collage materials because they're just gonna throw the books away anyways. Why not repurpose them? There's so many things you can do with them. I just kind of go with that type of process when I'm making collage art. The emotions and themes I love to like follow and play on are definitely love and what that means to me, and just like my emotions. I'm a very reactive artist. If I am feeling something, I will make it. If I am going through something, again, I will make it. But if I'm not reacting to something, I do like to play on like themes of love and just like daily life and what I'm going through, because oftentimes I don't feel like I'm valid in feeling the things I'm feeling, and by making the art and showing it to others, it definitely does feel a little bit more validating. Some of the meanings are more jump out at you like right away. Some of them are more up to interpretation, and I really love when art makes you think. So if you're thinking about my pieces, then I've done a good job.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your work, Gabby. And now we have Gabby at the studio here today to talk about the program, the art program here at Century. Welcome. How has your experiences in art classes been at Century, and has it sort of influenced your work now?
All of the classes I've taken at Century have definitely influenced my art process and just like improving my skills, and like meeting the teachers and having their support has really been meaningful to me, and definitely has like boosted my confidence in making art. And I've really learned a lot in a lot of the classes.
What would you, as a new student, what would you take first?
I would definitely take 2D design. That class I feel like I learned the most, and like how to construct art, like the things that go into it. A little bit of color theory, which was interesting. I'd also recommend taking like a drawing class, just because it just helps you look at the world and look at the world differently, and you can learn how to draw, which is really fun. I really do recommend the Artist Books and Zines class. It's a new class this year, and I've really been enjoying it. It's what re-sparked my love of bookbinding and helped me figure out which career path I want to go on.
And what would you say is if you had to pick one of those classes that's like your all-time personal favorite, what would you say?
That's hard, because I took a class with Melissa, the Darkroom and Digital class, and I really loved the analog, like developing film and everything. So it's either that class or the Artist Books and Zines class. Those are my 2 favorites.
Good picks, good picks.
Yeah.
You've mentioned how some of your work you'll share in a gallery at Century. How does that like make you feel? What is that like?
It was such a rewarding process, like being able to have a space, imagine how my artwork is going to be in there, how it's going to interact with the space, and like going through the hurdles of trying to make my art fit in there. I wanted to do a sky piece, a hanging piece from the ceiling, and my dad and I went through many different like trial and errors of how we were going to hang the pieces that I had constructed. It was frustrating, but it turned out beautiful, and being able to have all my collage work in one room was just really gratifying. It was also a really scary moment, because a lot of the work in there was very vulnerable for me. It was about COVID and my time processing those emotions during that time, and just like showing that to the world, or Century, my small world, it kind of helped me like be more confident in my art and in like being vulnerable, which was a good growth moment for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. You also mentioned too how you're a fan of history. I'm curious, is there like a particular period of maybe like art history that you find like really, really interesting?
I haven't studied much art history. I really do want to. I do like, I don't know. I do think like the classic like Renaissance paintings, whatever, they're cool. But I like just like whatever people make, you know? Art throughout history is all cool to me. There's not really a specific time period.
Do you have a particular favorite artist?
What's his name? Francis Bacon or something? I don't think I said his last name correct. But he had a painting at the Minnesota Institute of Art that I liked. I don't really have specific artists that I like. I just kind of consume it all. I'm a consumer. I don't know. We're all consumers. So.
Fair enough. Don't
Yeah.
blame you. Well, thank you so much for talking about the art program with us today, Gabby.
Yeah.
And thanks again to Allison as well. We got some great information from her about the Performing Arts program and what students are sort of working on. If you are interested in Century, you can explore their Performing Arts program and a multitude of other classes that they have available on their website at www.century.edu. This concludes our show for today, and we hope to see you again next time.